This is Wanda, Cooking with Grandma. Today we're going to talk about making your own yogurt at home using your Instant Pot. A lot of people have asked me about it after they've eaten the yogurt that I've made. It is super simple, but nobody seems to believe me how simple it is. So I'm going to show you the 3 steps to making your own yogurt at home using your Instant Pot and Fairlife milk. And we will do a step now to start the yogurt. Then we will check back 12 hours later tonight for the second step. And then in the morning, we'll do the 3rd step. So, okay, you ready? So what we need is an Instant Pot. It doesn't have to be the Instant Pot brand, but it does have to be a pressure cooker. So not a slow cooker, because that's a whole different thing. So not a crock pot, but it has to be a pressure cooker. Now, mine has the yogurt setting. So if yours doesn't have a yogurt setting, I don't know what to tell you. So you can watch other YouTube videos, or you can go to your manual if you still have it. But mine has a yogurt setting, so that's what I use. So you need a pressure cooker, an Instant Pot, or whatever brand you have. Also, you need milk, obviously. Now, the milk you use is very important. I always use Fairlife. Okay, so what is so different about Fairlife? Fairlife is ultra processed. So what that means is, for me, it's easier on my tummy, which is the reason I started making my own yogurt to begin with. But because it's ultra processed, you don't have to do the boil step to make yogurt. So you can make it with other milk, because I know Fairlife is expensive. To me, it's worth it. But if you need to use a different brand of milk, or if you can't find Fairlife, because it is pretty popular, then you can use other milk, but you have to do the boil step. And the boil step basically does that extra step that takes the bugs and the germs and the whatever out of the milk. I know that sounds gross, but when you're making yogurt, you're wanting it to grow bugs and things, the right kind, but you don't want anything else in there. So if you use regular milk, you have to do the boil setting. It heats the milk up to a certain temperature, and then you have to let it cool back down before you put your yogurt starter in. So I always use Fairlife because it's easier, and I don't have to do that step. Okay, so we have the Fairlife milk, and then also you need a yogurt starter. So the important thing to remember is whatever you want your yogurt to taste like at the end is what you've got to start with at the beginning. So I get the most expensive plain yogurt with active cultures that I can find. So this is the brand that I've always used, the Siggi's. It is plain, so it has no sugar, no fruit, no additives whatsoever. And it's just regular. It's not Greek or anything else. It's just regular yogurt, plain yogurt, really good active cultures, because that's what you want to get your active cultures going. So Siggi's or another brand, whatever brand you can find, plain. Now, you do not need the lid, because we're not pressure cooking to make yogurt. We're doing a very slow temperature that allows the active cultures to grow all day. And so you don't need the top, because you don't need to pressure cook it. Okay, makes sense? We have the stainless steel liner in here. Now, I use my Instant Pot a lot. And there's been days that I've cooked meat and then the next morning I want to make yogurt. So, and you know, if you cook a lot in your Instant Pot, you can have odors in there, particularly in your ring on your lid. So you don't want any kind of odors introduced there. So also you want to make sure that your stainless steel liner is absolutely as clean as possible, which is why stainless steel is so good. So I make sure that mine is super clean. If I have used it for meat, maybe the night before, and I feel like maybe it still has a little odor or something in there, I will rinse it with vinegar to make sure that there is no odors or anything left in the liner. So that goes in there, super clean. And then, since I'm not using this lid, I use a silicone lid. I got these in a pack on Amazon. You probably can find them other places as well. It's just a silicone lid, that's all. There's nothing special about it. But it does kind of vacuum down, so it makes a nice seal on the top of the liner. So that's what I use on it. And that's basically all you need. So when I say it's super easy, it's super easy. So let's get started. So we're going to take our yogurt starter. And I have just a little container here. You could use a little bowl or whatever you want to. So you really just need a couple of tablespoons. This does not have to be precise at all. So you just take a couple of spoonfuls and you put it in a bowl or whatever you've got, just a couple of tablespoons, like that. Doesn't matter. It's not, doesn't have to be that precise. So we're putting the yogurt in there. And then get that out of the way. We're going to add just a little bit of the Fairlife milk to the yogurt. So what we're trying to do here is we just want to thin down our yogurt starter so that it doesn't have any lumps in it. And the lumps don't matter, so it doesn't affect the taste. And sometimes I will make it, and maybe I was in a hurry and I didn't get all the lumps out and I didn't thin it down enough. It's okay. If your yogurt has a few little lumps in it, doesn't matter. It's just as good. So I'm just going to keep adding a little milk until we get that thinned down where it has as few lumps as possible. Don't overthink this, people. It's not that precise. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing in here, but I'm just mixing it up. We're just going to keep now at this point, we're just going to pour the rest of this in here. Now, Fairlife is not a half gallon, you know, and it's expensive, and it's not even a half gallon. It's actually it's 52 ounces. So what you're going to end up with is not even a half gallon, so it's not going to be 2 quarts. And then what we're going to make is Greek yogurt, because that's what I like, so that's what I make, so that's what I'm going to teach you to make. So you're going to come up with a whole lot less. So probably, I've never measured it, but you're probably going to end up with maybe a quart of yogurt when you finish. And I've sort of priced it out. You're not really saving money making your own yogurt. If you're trying to save money, that's not what we're trying to achieve here. The reason I did it is because I have a lot of tummy issues, and I needed to be eating yogurt because yogurt really, it has a lot of protein in it, and it also has the good properties, the good bacteria for your gut health. And so that's the reason that I wanted to make my own yogurt, was I couldn't find a product that didn't cause me a tummy upset. So, okay, let's say that we have the lumps out of here. They're not all out of here. You could even take a little whisk if you wanted to and try to get the rest of the lumps out, but it doesn't. Honestly, it's really not that important. So now we're just gonna pour this in there. And then give it a little stir just to incorporate it in to the rest of the milk. And there we go. It's in there. Let me get this out of the way. All we have in there is Fairlife milk and 2 tablespoons or thereabout of the yogurt starter. Now on my crock pot, and I said it's not a crock pot, it's an Instant Pot. On my Instant Pot, I have a yogurt setting. So, and I use it a lot. So mine's gonna automatically, I think, go to 12. Well, first of all, you have to plug it in or it won't do anything. So there we go. So here's the off button, and then there's the yogurt button. And if I press it once, it goes to 12 hours. That's it. Now, if you don't like your yogurt, we're making yogurt. If you don't like your yogurt tangy, then you can adjust this down to maybe like 8 hours, depending on how you like it. But 8 hours, I think, is like the minimum to actually turn out to be yogurt. So I like mine a little more tangy than that. So I put mine on 12 hours. Now, there we go. And now it's going to count up to 12 hours. So that's all we do. This is the first step. Fairlife milk, the yogurt starter, stir it up, put it in there, put it on 12 hours, and there we go. Now we're off to our day. We'll be back for step 2. Hello, we're back. Believe it or not, it is 12 hours later, and you may hear the whippoorwills in the background because it is nighttime now. But if you'll notice, the Instant Pot now says yogurt. And so we have made yogurt today. So I'm going to take off the silicone lid and show you what we've got. There's a little condensation there. Oh, it smells wonderful. So there it is. It is yogurt. If you can see that. Okay. So now what we're going to do, this is the way I do it. And so whatever you've got at home that you can make this happen. But this is what I do. So I just take a Tupperware bowl that happens to fit my little plastic colander that I have. So, and leaves a little space at the bottom. So I put that in there. This is cheesecloth, which I've heard people say you can use a paper towel and stuff, but if you're going to be making yogurt every week, it's worth buying some cheesecloth. So you can get this at the grocery store, you know, where they sell utensils and things like that. You can buy cheesecloth, or you could order it, I'm sure. So, and this is doubled. It's pretty thin, so this is a doubled piece of cheesecloth. So I put that over there, over the colander, just like that. And I'll show you tomorrow, or I'll tell you tomorrow what I do with the cheesecake, how to clean it and all that. But now we're gonna, this is so hard, people. Now we're gonna dump the yogurt in the colander. And this liquid is whey. And so what we're trying to do is strain off the whey, because we're making Greek yogurt. You could eat this just like it is right now. It's yogurt, but it has a very soft consistency. And I happen to like Greek yogurt, which is firmer. And you don't want to miss any of this goodness in the bottom. So I make sure that I get it all out of there. And you put it over into the strainer. Now, very important step is, if you're going to make yogurt next week or 3 days from now, you've got to have starter. So now is the time to reserve some starter. So we're going to take, remember the 2 tablespoons from this morning when we used the Siggy yogurt? So we're going to set aside, that's a very generous 2 tablespoons, but we're going to set aside some of the yogurt as a starter. Ooh, and it's still warm. Okay. There it is. That's how hard this is, people. Now, I take the silicone lid, put it back on here, and sometimes it gets all drippy if I leave these hanging down, so I'll just put them up like that. This goes in the refrigerator until in the morning. And what's going to happen is in the morning, all of that whey is going to be collected in the bottom of the bowl. You can see it's already starting to strain. So there you go. That's step number 2. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and we'll be back in the morning to do step number 3. Hello, we're back. This is step 3 for making the yogurt. It is the next morning. And so we're going to uncover, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's set all night. So there it is. And so it's kind of the consistency of cream cheese at this point. And let me show you what's in our bowl underneath. So this is the whey that's been collected. Now, there are ways that you can use the whey. Oh, I made a little rhyme. I don't. I pour mine down the drain. But sometimes people feed it to animals. I understand dogs like it. You can also cook with it. It's kind of sour and sticky, and so, but you can use it. So at this point, I usually just use the same bowl. And so we're going to pour this down the drain, and I'll be right back. So there we go. So now we're going to empty this out of the cheesecloth. into the bowl, just like that. Now, I promised I'd tell you how to clean the cheesecloth. So I usually just put it in with the kitchen towels, but sometimes I've just washed it out in the sink, washed and rinsed it in the sink, and then hung it up to dry. And then it's ready to go the next time. So there's the cheesecloth. But here's what you've got. It's pretty dry at this point. So now I'm going to add liquid stevia as a sweetener. You could also add honey, or you could add the honey when you actually eat it. You could leave it just like this and then sweeten it and do whatever you wanted to as you eat it. But I do this basic thing to it and then put it back in the refrigerator, and then it's ready to go. So I use, and I don't measure it other than I just use a soup spoon, and I'll do a whole soup spoon of liquid stevia. So I just kind of pour that around. This is vanilla, which we also make at home. It's super easy. And I do the same thing. One very unmeasured soup spoon of vanilla. And then we're just gonna mix that all in. So if you'll remember, I did have a few little lumps in my yogurt starter, but it doesn't really matter. And so you want to stir it up, and as you stir it, it'll get creamier. The consistency will get creamier. You see that? So now it's sort of the consistency of frosting. Whoa. So now we have Greek yogurt. And it's made with Fairlife milk, so it has no lactose in it. My favorite way to eat it is to make a parfait out of it. And you can use all kinds of fruit, fresh fruit. I like to keep frozen fruit. Cherries are one of my favorites. Blueberries. I have even cooked apples in the Instant Pot and then froze that, put some cinnamon on them and freeze them. And in the wintertime, heat up some of those apples, put them in a bottom bowl, put a big scoop of this Greek yogurt on it, and then put some homemade granola on top. Oh, it's just like eating apple pie with ice cream. It's delicious. But very low sugar content and lactose free, which I love. So, hope you've enjoyed how to make homemade yogurt and try it yourself. Linda, my sister, enjoyed making it yesterday so much that she decided she wanted to make some of her own. So we're almost to 12 hours on our second pot in 2 days. So we're going to be eating a lot of yogurt over the next few days. Thank you. See you next time.